First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Rakakudash. Yahweh is to this world ignorantly calls God. Yahushai is to this world ignorantly calls Jesus. Ba'Hashem means in the name, Rakah means spirit, and Kodash means holy. And that's all in the Paleo Hebrew. I also want to give double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. And I wanted to make a quick, straight to the point video going into how the mark of the beast is the chip and where exactly and how exactly we come to that conclusion. So when you go into Revelation, the 13th chapter, okay, this is, when it talks about the mark of the beast. Okay, the scriptures talk about the beast. It also talks about the whore. And, simply put it, when you read about the beast, it's talking about the ancient Roman Empire. Now, there are times where, the beast also refers to NATO and EU, because NATO and EU is the rebirth of the ancient Roman Empire. Okay, that's what you got to understand. So there's parts when, it talks about how, the beast persecuted, like, for example, when you go into Revelation chapter 12, and it talks about how the great red dragon, persecuted, right here, verse 3 says, "And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born." And without breaking that down, too thoroughly, I just want to get the point, is that the beast, this is going into the account of Herod the Great, trying to take out Yahushai, right? Yahushai's mother being Mary, and that son, okay, delivering the woman which was ready to be delivered to devour her child as soon as it was born. Right, that was going into Herod, like I said, persecuting Yahushai, killing all the firstborn. So, there's times where it will be talking about the ancient Roman Empire, but when you go into Revelation 13, okay, it's talking about NATO and EU, okay? It's talking about this current system. So with that out of the way, let's read in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. Now let's stop right there. What is the image of the beast? Okay, the image of the beast, the image, or what these, what this system wants to accomplish is the NWO, okay, to control everybody completely. That is their image, okay? That is what they strive, that is what they strive to have. And they are going to achieve it to a certain extent, okay? Right when, they're at the fullness of their sufficiency, it says they're going to be in straits. So they're going to be able to accomplish a lot of their goals, but in the midst of that, Yahushua is going to come back. So it says he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, right? They're going to accomplish those plans, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, right? So they're going to go to the extent that if you don't bow down, with their new order, you're going to be put to death. And a big, differentiation, a big identifier if you're worshiping, the NWO is going to be if you take that mark spoken of in verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Right, and that mark, okay, is a physical thing. Now, how do we know that? Well, you have to go into the Greek. So when you go into the Greek words, you can see on the left side you have the Greek words, and on the right you have the English word associated with that. When you go into the word mark, it goes into the Greek word charagma, which says a stamp, an imprinted mark, okay, of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist, the mark branded upon horses, thing carved, sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images. And when you jump down to the Strong's definition here, it says a scratch or etching, a stamp as a badge of servitude. And this is all talking about something that is physical, okay? And, okay, you taking that mark is a badge of servitude. You are literally saying that Esau, Edom, okay, that this technology is your God because they're going to have full control over everything you do. So when you go into the root word of this word charagma, as you see right here, it goes into the root word karax, which says a pale or stake, a palisade or ramparts, pales between which earth, stones, trees, and timbers are heaped and packed together. Right? And if you don't know what a stake is, okay, a wooden stake. This is what it's talking about. Now, you know, what that root word is really going into is it's dealing with the delivery system. So when you search up a RFID chip implant, you'll find that in order to implant this device, okay, it comes with that stake. Okay, it comes with the piece to implant it. And that is what, you know, is being described there when you go into the root word. It's going into the delivery system. So, you know, that's another thing as to how we know it's talking about a chip. Now, when you go into even more deep, it says into the deeper root word of that. It says from karasso, to sharpen to a point, through the idea of scratching, right? They're scratching into your skin. But you go into the root word of that, it goes to grapho, which says to write with reference to the form of the letters, right? And that's going into how that chip, you know, you're literally going to be able to write information into it. Okay, it's going to be able to store your ID, okay, your debit card, your medical records. Everything is going to be able to be written into that chip. So this is, you know, one of the ways that we know that the mark of the beast is physical, and that it's talking about the chip. And you can see how this was written 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years later, what are we seeing? Exactly what's being written. So, straight to the point, hopefully this was edifying. With that, I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash, and double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Shalom to you, like Shalom.